Okay, hello and welcome back. I am Mrs. Rhea, your grade 9 maths teacher. Okay, in today's lesson we are going to look at measures of spread, which is still part of statistics. Okay, measures of spread. What is a measure of spread? Measure of spread is just basically how the data is spread out from the mean or the median. Now, up here we can see the scores which we are going to use in this lesson. We have scores ranging from 19 to 48. These are the scores of a test which was done by grade 10s out of 50. And here we have the number line where we are going to plot the scores on. Now, we are going to look at the first example of a measure of spread, which is range. Okay. Range is equal to the highest score minus the lowest score. Now, the highest score from this set of numbers here is 48 and the lowest score is 19. So, we have 48 minus 19, which is equal to 29. So, our range is 29. This tells us how the data spreads out from the highest score to the lowest score. Now, the next measure of spread that we are going to look at is the interquartile range, which is equal to the upper quartile minus the lower quartile. Now, the middle score of this set of scores would be the two middle scores, or the average of the two middle scores, which are 27 and 30. So, our median is equal to 27 plus 30 divided by 2, and that gives us 28.5, which is approximately 29. Therefore, my median would be somewhere here. Okay, so that's the median, which is 29. Okay, now we are going to find the upper quartile. How do we find the upper quartile? The upper quartile is always the median of the set of scores which are above the original median. And in this case, our upper quartile is 37. That is the upper quartile. That's the median of the set of scores above the original median. The lower quartile is the median of the set of scores below the original median. So in this case, our median for the lower set of scores is 22. So we call it the lower quartile. Now, what we are going to do in here, we are going to find the interquartile range after we have found what the upper quartile and the lower quartile is. So, our upper quartile is 37. 37 minus the lower quartile, 22, gives us 15. So, the interquartile range is 15. The interquartile range now tells us how the data is spread out from the center towards the upper scores and the lower scores. We are going to plot that to find out whether the students have done well in this test. Now, our lowest score is 19. So, if this is 20, 19 is roughly somewhere around here. The lower quartile is 22. So, 22 would be closer to 20. So, it will be somewhere here. It's 22. And upper quartile is 37, which is somewhere around here, 37, okay? And then the median, 29. 29 is somewhere around here. The highest score is 48. 48 is somewhere here. Then I draw a little box. And then I join this by a whisker to the box, and then a whisker to the highest score. So this is the highest score. This is the lowest score. This is the median. This is the upper quartile, and this one here, this score here is our lower quartile. I'll just put it here. Now, if we look at this score, this graph, we can see that majority of the students have scored above the median because it is stretched to the right. It's stretched to the right, so it is a positively skewed graph because majority of the students have scored above the mean, as you can see from the box. And the less number of students have scored below the median. But if we look at this score, we can see that this stretches out to the whisker stretches out to 48. That means not many students have scored 75% above the upper quartile. Here we have majority of the students scoring, what will I say, 25, more than 25% of the students have scored towards the lower quartile. So we can see that the whiskers here is shorter than the whiskers on the right. Okay, this graph here is called a box and whisker plot because of the whiskers and the boxes which indicate the upper quartile and the lower quartile. Okay, now this brings us to the end of our lesson. In our next lesson, we are going to look at the cumulative frequency graphs, and that will be the final topic of statistics. Thank you.